Good afternoon, and thank you for joining Better Business Bureau's Accredited Business Meeting. My name is John Owens, Chair of the BBB Board of Directors and formerly President of Owens Companies, an accredited business for over 50 years. Among my duties as Board Chair is to convene an annual meeting of locally accredited businesses, stakeholders, and staff to review the organization's performance relative to its stated budget, objectives, and mission of advancing marketplace trust. The information presented today is preliminary and pertains to year-to-date performance for activities and financial performance in fiscal year 2025, which began July 1st, 2024, and will conclude next Monday, June 30th, 2025. A final report will be published in an annual report at a future date when the year-end reporting is completed. As well, an overview will be presented at the BBB Accredited Business Member Luncheon on Tuesday, September 16th at CHS Field in downtown St. Paul. More details and ticket information about that in-person event will be forthcoming soon. I will also mention this webinar is being recorded and will be available for future viewing at the BBB Serving Minnesota and North Dakota YouTube channel and other social media channels. Today, we will also review BBB's election process and other important information about the organization. BBB Board of Directors are elected by accredited business members in good standing, and your company should have received information about the proposed slate, as well as access to the link where each eligible company may cast one vote. Here's the link, and we will mention this information again later in this webinar. The election closes this coming Monday, June 30th. Be sure to contact your BBB Member Services representative if you have any questions about the process or trouble accessing the link. Election results will be published on the website at bbb.org and other social media channels. BBB Serving Minnesota and North Dakota belongs to the International Association of Better Business Bureaus and is one of 90 such organizations spread across North America. All affiliated BBBs are managed by independent boards, yet share the same mission of advancing marketplace trust in their service areas. Each office provides a variety of services and educational programs to accredited business members and local businesses and consumers. Better Business Bureau is a professional association not associated with any state or federal government agency and does not receive any direct government funding. In general, the collective organization sets standards for ethical business practices, celebrates marketplace role models, and calls out substandard behavior. Roughly 500,000 companies across North America are currently BBB accredited members and maintain that status by upholding BBB's 8 standards of trust and business activities. Ultimately, the BBB Board of Directors oversees the accreditation process and approves the company's use of the BBB accreditation seal. It maintains oversight of the organization's activities, financial performance, and ensures its rigorous adherence to IABBB standards and best practices. The board is comprised of volunteers representing member companies, strategic partners, and educational institutions. Directors serve 3-year terms and may serve as many as 3 consecutive terms. The board structure encourages rotation of members so that about a third of the board is elected every year. Within the board, officers and committee chairs are also elected for 1-year terms. BBB Governance Committee is charged with organizing the election activities. The current chair of this committee is Michelle Dove, General Counsel of IC System, a company that's a long time a BBB accredited business, and a 2022 Better Business Bureau Torch Award winner. Michelle?
Thanks, John. It is my pleasure to have served this past year as the chair of the BBB Governance Committee. This committee has several responsibilities, including the oversight of the board election and development of a qualified pool of candidates that broadly reflects the diversity, size, ownership interests, industries, and geographic mix of our member businesses throughout Minnesota and North Dakota. As you can see from this slide, various criteria are used to recruit a qualified pool of candidates. BBB is strongly committed to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion when considering candidates, and the recruitment of board directors is fluid and ongoing. As John mentioned, roughly 1/3 of the board rotates each year. We are always looking for strong candidates who share a passion for the BBB mission. Please let your accredited business representative know if you have an interest in future BBB board service. As an overview of this process, let me say that the current board has 32 directors. There are 15 directors whose terms will expire at the end of June, and 8 of these 15 are eligible and wish to seek additional terms. There are 7 new candidates among eligible nominees that have been slated by the Governance Committee. I'd like to take a moment to thank the 8 departing board directors, including Osni Figuera Filiu, Brett Hansen, CHS Transportation, Tammy Lynn Jonas Donaldson, Monique Linder, OMG Media Solutions, Dietrich Nissen, formerly of Inherited Stories, Nadia Risk, Target, Tamara Robinson, Delta Dental, and Carlos Ruiz, formerly of the Star Tribune. Thank you for your many years of volunteer service. You have all been outstanding volunteers, and we appreciate your ongoing support of the BBB mission. As mentioned, 7 current board directors are eligible and interested in serving an additional term. These nominees are R.C. Colvin, Primary ENT, Juliana Copeland, Renewal by Anderson, Peter Gates, Preferred Credit, Janie Hansen, Hansen Lair, Michelle Dove, IC System, Carlos Morales, Viva Technology, and Chris Saritzlov, Centerpoint. 7 new candidates have raised their hand enthusiastically to serve BBB in its mission and have been slated by the Governance Committee for consideration. These individuals include Young Bibas, VR Business Brokers, Jacob Deems, Minnesota Rusco, Simon Gottlieb, Norton Ross Fulbright, Luke Johnson, Wolf River, Tom Miller, NFP, Armitha Filstrom Consulting Group, Dr. Denise Williams, Metropolitan State University. BBB's Board of Directors serves in a governing capacity and advises staff in several areas of operation. Here's a list of the committees, including the BBB Foundation, a separate 501c3 nonprofit, which provides fundraising, research, and educational services on behalf of BBB. Each committee has a chair that coordinates its activities and serves on the executive committee of the BBB Board of Directors. Here are the current board officers and committee chairs that were elected for a 1-year term, and I'd like to thank them for their service. Chair of the board, John Owens, retired. Past chair, David Offed, attorney and board member, Winthrop and Weinstein. Chair, Finance Committee, Louis Berzofsky, CFO, Eagle Infrastructure Services. Secretary, Andy Kasemba, President and CEO, Calhoun Companies. Chair, Governance Committee, Michelle Dove. Chair, Marketing and Communication Committee, Bernie Lauer. Director of Digital Hubbard Interactive. Chair, Membership Committee, Tracy Leffner, President, Sovereign. And Chair, Succession Planning Task Force, Lori Moen, Founder, Catalyst Group, ECR. Fiscal year 2026 board officers will be elected by the board in August 2026. BBB's Board of Directors serves in a governing capacity and advises staff in several areas of operation. Oh, excuse me, I think I just did that part. Scrolling error. As mentioned earlier, each accredited business in good standing may cast 1 vote. As a designated representative of a BBB member company, you may vote by logging onto this link. The election site will remain open through Monday, June 30th, 2025. The next order of business is to review BBB's financial performance. We will now hear a report from Finance Chair Louis Berezovsky. and BBB Vice President of Finance and Accounting, Ryan Sharp.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm Louis Berezowski, Chair of the Finance Committee. I've had the pleasure to serve on the board and the Finance Committee for 13 years now. It's just been a real pleasure to work with a great team of people and such a wonderful mission that the BBB has. And Ryan and I have been working together now for a little over 3 years, and it's been a real pleasure having Ryan, and I am fortunate to have him take over the presentation here for the financials, but we're extremely financially healthy organization, and that just shows what value proposition we bring to the marketplace, and couldn't be more proud of it. So, Ryan, I'll let you take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. I really appreciate the introduction there. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this year's update. As mentioned, I'm Ryan Sharp, the CFO here at the Better Business Bureau of Minnesota and North Dakota. I'm excited to walk you through a quick snapshot of where we stand financially and how we're continuing to invest to serve better. First, if we take a quick look at the year-to-date performance, again, this is through May, across all of our operations, including BBB, Forward, and Foundation. We're performing in line with our fiscal 25 budget, which just speaks to the thoughtful planning and commitment to efficiency. Our revenue is strong, thanks in part from members like you. We've continued to see growth in our ad sales and marketing services, and just trying to find ways to connect with us services to continue to add to our renewals and our offerings. Going to the slide versus last year, when we compare for the same period, we're seeing healthy improvement. We've grown income in several areas, most notably in ad sales, and then also in our studio services. We put in a studio a few years ago, and that's continuing to ramp up. And it's not a line item on this page, but it's definitely adding to our income as we continue to build in a responsible and sustainable way. On the expense side, we've made some key investments. This includes some digital improvements. Of course, we have some infrastructure and building expenses that are ongoing, but we've been able to manage through those within our financial plan. So while we're investing more in innovation, we're doing things in our business, we're doing so responsibly to set ourselves up for the long term. Moving ahead to the balance sheet, the key message to take away here is we're in a very strong financial position. Our assets are healthy, they continue to grow. It's driven from cash from the operations. We have consistent investment gains and support of new partnerships and non-dues revenue streams. Our liabilities are low and manageable. We have no long-term debt at all. This gives us added flexibility and allows us to continue investing in technology, member services, and marketing with confidence. You'll also notice strong equity growth, which is a reflection of both the operational performance and the long-term stewardship of our resources. Moving on to the investment review, we'll start out with a graph. And as you can see, our asset value has increased meaningfully since inception. That's not just the market is being in our favor. We've made some adjustments to this over time. It's a reflection of our disciplined approach that we do with our financial advisors over at Think Bank. And we're just continuing to see success. Certainly in this year, where things were a little bit more volatile than we'd like, it's really nice to see that continued growth, and we're sitting in a really good spot as we close out the fiscal year here. Taking a closer look at the portfolio, I mentioned some of those changes. One of them was we mixed heavier into equities, and that move has really been paying off. This is a huge asset value in terms of what we use for our reserves. It's what we tap into to do some of the bigger capital projects in order to not impact the day-to-day operations, and also find ways to invest more into the membership. A quick word on the reserves. So we're sitting at 174 days of reserves. We have some big capital items in our plan, but our investment strategy, which has shifted, as I mentioned, more into equity, is paying off, and it's going to help us grow in a long-term sustainable way that'll allow us to do the capital items and continue to invest and grow the membership side of it as well. As we plan ahead into fiscal year 2026, which is in a week if you're watching this live, our focus remains more growth, more efficiency, and more impact. So we're budgeting growth in our dues and retention, continued expansion of BBB Forward. We've had sustainable growth over the last 6 years in that area, and then expanding our studio services. If you look back over the course of the last 9 years, we've been able to grow revenue consistently at a 7 to 10% rate. I'm happy to say that we've been able to do that and also increase the rate during that time too. Our expenses are not growing as fast as our revenue is. So we're continuing to get more efficient, continuing to find ways to grow, and we're going to continue that on into the next fiscal year. Looking at the expense side, it's very modest increase expense here. We have a little bit of change on the head count. We always have salary, wages, and benefits impacts. And then you might see us around the Gophers U of M as we're doing some new advertising in the coming year with the football team and dipping into some NIL in the fall here. This is the revenue walk, more so for visibility. I won't cover this line by line, but we're coming in around 7 million for fiscal 25. With those growth items that I outlined in the previous slides, we're anticipating coming in above 7.4 million in fiscal 26, assuming we deliver on everything that we're setting out to do. So we're up by 5.36% on the revenue side. We're up 5.8% on the expense side. So going from 6.6 million down to 7 million. So still really healthy operating profit. If you remember the previous slide, we're at 7.4. On the expense side, we're sitting at 7 million. So pretty good profitability to continue to find ways to invest back into the mission. This is a lot of numbers, but wanted to provide this for visibility. I'll just pause for a minute to show you the monthly breakdown. You can see at the bottom in our revenue over and under expense, the seasonality is kind of slower in the first half of the year, and then in the back half, it starts to ramp up. I will note that we do not budget for any kind of investment income, but we're hoping that continues to be a strong story for us as well. So with that, in closing, we are in a strong financial position, and we're using that strength to grow responsibly, to serve you better. Thank you for being a part of the community. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Tracy Leffner.
Let me jump in here. Thank you, Louis and Ryan, for the Finance Committee report. The year-end financial information will be audited later this fall. The final report will be published in the fiscal year 2025 annual report and distributed to all member companies. Now I'll hand it over the agenda to presentation by our membership committee chair, Tracy Leffner. Tracy?
Thank you, John. All right, I think we're going to just jump into some numbers today. So for the new accredited business members, we're pacing for 1,270 applicants, achieved transaction count for the year. Out of the 1,260 applications, 90% of them were from Minnesota and 10% were from North Dakota. Businesses in the automobile as well as construction-related categories were the most common types of businesses to apply for Better Business Bureau accreditation in fiscal year 25. And the overall average size of our new accredited businesses in fiscal year 24 was 5 employees, with the largest being 200. We are up 3% from last year and up 6% to our 5-year average of 1185. We rounded out fiscal 25 with approximately 6,900 total accredited businesses, and that's down slightly from previous years. Our overall retention increased is currently 82.42% to end FY25, which is on pace with the rest of the Better Business Bureau system and over the average retention for like-sized BBBs. Engagement with accredited businesses is up, with more time focused on onboarding and early engagement, as well as new benefit offerings and events specific for accredited business members. This is the makeup of our 6,941 accredited businesses, and you can see some of the larger categories of the business. Contractors and those in construction industry continue to make up over half of our accredited businesses, followed by those businesses in the auto service industry, such as auto repair, auto body, auto sales, etc. Our largest single category of accredited businesses is general contractors. 85% of our accredited businesses have under 25 employees. 30% of members are one-employee businesses, which is the largest category. There are approximately 270 accredited businesses over 100 employees, with the largest having nearly 400,000 employees. And I can turn it back over to John. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Now for our next report, we'll hear from Bernie Lauer, our Marketing Communications Committee Chair, and Bao Vang, our Vice President of Communications.
Thank you, John, and good afternoon, everyone. As we close out the year, I'm proud to partner with Bao Vang, VP of Communications, to share a brief snapshot of the work the communications team has accomplished together to elevate the brand and impact of BBB. This team has built out new and exciting ways to add value to the BBB membership. Across our digital platforms on social, emails, newsletters, we've pushed out dozens of news updates, event promotions, and educational alerts. We kept you informed and inspired. You engaged in ways that tell us we're hitting the mark, with open rates that exceed the standard. We brought in droves of clients and partners to our building to meet the humans behind the business and learn more about our expanding services and tour our state-of-the-art production studio. Every time a small business walks through our doors of our studio, we have a golden opportunity, not just to show you what we've built, but to show you what's possible for your business. Here's Joan Borderbruder.
At Supplying
Founder
At
of
Supplying Seniors, we believe every person deserves to feel safe, supported, and independent, at home and in their community. Hi, I'm Abdi. I'm the oldest of 8.
We'll go on to the next slide. That one shouldn't be running there. We'll go to the next slide with Joan. She's got a great testimonial we'd love for you to hear.
My name's Joan Vorderbergen, and I am the CEO of Community Arts Consulting. And I had the great privilege of working with the Better Business Bureau of Minnesota to work on just really amplifying my existing assets, but also producing things that really spoke to my brand. So a short promotional video, getting a new updated headshot, and just getting a lot of great advice about my website. And in doing all of that, I landed a huge gig. It absolutely helped me cement the deal and give credibility to my abilities and what I'm trying to do. But it also helped me to basically book business all the way through the end of the year. And we're only at the beginning of February. So I'm so grateful. Give it a try. The people at the Better Business Bureau are great to work with. I loved everything that they created. It was just upped my professionalism immensely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Joan. In the last fiscal year, we have supported more than 60 small businesses and helped increase their visibility, credibility, and confidence. And we're just getting started. We're excited about what's ahead, and we truly invite you to step in and take advantage of the studio and let us help tell your story. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernie. Now we'll hear about BBB staff activities from our CEO and President, Susan Adams-Lloyd. Susan?
Thank you, John. For more than 100 years, this Better Business Bureau has been dedicated to encouraging a vibrant marketplace and providing a framework of ethical standards. Think of BBB as a business-led movement where owners and operators stand shoulder to shoulder to champion the highest of ethical standards, best practices, and practical wisdom for smooth and safe transactions. And when necessary, call out unethical behavior. As mentioned earlier, BBB is not a government agency. However, we are among the very first to hear from consumers when things are truly amiss or something smells fishy. And in such cases of potential fraud, we point the various enforcement agencies in the right direction while letting the public know which businesses to avoid. At Better Business Bureau, we think about business ethics and integrity every day. Although most legitimate businesses start with customers in mind, running any type of business is difficult. It doesn't take a pandemic or supply chain issues or labor shortages to pose a challenge. No matter how poised for success, any company can have a mishap, miss an opportunity, or face a customer service breakdown. Well, have no fear. BBB is here to help. By providing guiding standards and best practices, those unfortunate wrinkles don't have to get in the way of your company's reputation. At Better Business Bureau, we believe a healthy marketplace begins with informed consumers and business leaders. BBB exists entirely to help businesses be the very best version of themselves. That's right. We're here to serve you as a business owner operator, and especially in areas like customer service, responsiveness, honest advertising, marketing, and fraud prevention. Here is a breakdown of the services we offer with a primary focus on business education. Our educational programs wouldn't exist without your financial support through your memberships, sponsorships of events and programs, donations through BBB Foundation, and the purchase of advertising services. So thank you for that. The accreditation process offers the gold standard for building trust inside and outside your organization. BBB accredited businesses understand that earning trust comes from a proactive declaration of ethical standards in combination with the consistent delivery of services. The BBB accreditation seal is a sign of a better business, and buyers know that they are hiring a trustworthy company. Hence our motto, start with trust. And as one of the most widely recognized brands in the world, the BBB accreditation seal can enhance any of your marketing materials or social media presence. Be what consumers are looking for and prove it by displaying the seal. Don't be mistaken to think that BBB only steps in when things go wrong, when, in fact, BBB is here to support you so that things go right. BBB is committed to partnering with your company to sustain best business practices in support of a vibrant marketplace. BBB's 8 standards of trust create an ethical framework so that integrity is embedded in every facet of your operation. As a 501c6 nonprofit, the BBB team remains committed to responsible care of our finances, resources, services, and mission. Accredited businesses, consumers, and our valued employees are our primary stakeholders. All of BBB's activities are driven by strategies supporting these areas as seen here. Better Business Bureau's resource specialists provide real-time support to businesses as well as consumers regarding marketplace issues and concerns. Our organization is known for scam prevention, education, and identification of bad business practices. In fact, last year, our team handled almost 20,000 calls to help people in real time for guidance before they press send. You can see in this graph that scams totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars were averted in this real time because of the intervention of the skilled BBB consumer resource staff. Better Business Bureau is fortunate to collaborate with a myriad of strategic partners, organizations that share similar missions and focus. This slide shows just some of them. By combining resources or sharing information, we are better positioned to efficiently and effectively serve business owners and operators across Minnesota and North Dakota. I'd like to specifically call out the Small Business Administration, Allianz Life Insurance, and Elevate Hennepin for their support this year as we've explored new, impactful ways to serve small businesses, and particularly BIPOC and women-owned businesses. As a nonprofit organization, our primary source of revenue, as I mentioned, comes by way of member dues from businesses like you. Thank you for your ongoing support, and a special shout out to the businesses that go above and beyond, such as our community partners, Wolf River Electric and Think Bank, and for our sponsors, Centerpoint Energy, Delta Dental, and Sovereign. The contributions of these companies go towards business education programs, scholarships, and events. Our team couldn't do as well without this financial backing. Again, thanks very much. Please mark your calendar for several of our consumer and business education programs. First up is the Lake Area Scam Jam, a free fraud prevention workshop in partnerships with AARP. This will be held at Breezy Point Resort on July 22nd, starting at 8:30 a.m. BBB offers networking events, much like a chamber might, for our members and strategic partners. And we have two of those coming up. The first that is at Prize Brewing Company in Minneapolis on Wednesday, July 23rd, beginning at 4:30. And then for BBB members wishing to learn more about the services offered through accreditation, please join us at the BBB headquarters in Burnsville for lunch on August 13th. You'll meet other members, get a tour of our studio, and we'll show you how to maximize the value of BBB accreditation. And finally, you won't want to miss the annual Accredited Business Celebration on Tuesday, September 16th. This year's event will be held at CHS Field in downtown St. Paul. More details will be forthcoming regarding ticket purchases and sponsorships opportunities. Now I'd like to send it back to Chair Owens.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for all you've done for BBB. Our last item is to say goodbye. After 8.5 years, Susan has decided to step down as CEO to head east to be with her family and pursue various business interests. We just can't thank her enough for all that she's done for our chapter and wish her the best. And as I mentioned last month, we are delighted to welcome Carrie Needfeld-Thomas, who will join the organization next Monday as the new president and CEO of BBB serving Minnesota and North Dakota. Carrie has extensive professional experience in community service, some of which is outlined on this slide here. The board of directors, with Susan's support, are committed to making this transition as a smooth one, and we look forward to the new chapter under Carrie's leadership. As mentioned, this webinar has been recorded and will be available for future viewing. Your feedback about today's meeting would be very much appreciated. The best way for that, to give us feedback on upcoming events, services, and resources, you can log into bbb.org or call us at 651-699-1111. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good day.